Hello. Good morning, everyone. Is my voice clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Very good morning. Am I audible to everyone? Right?
Yes, sir. Maybe.
Okay. I hope that all of you have enjoyed your Diwali holidays, and so we will get back again to our lectures. So, as I already conveyed you that today I would like to take one small class test, MCQ class test on exception handling, the topic which we already covered in last couple of classes and our labs as well. So I'm sharing the link in your chat box. Everyone go through the link first and just give me a confirmation whether you are able to access that particular link or not. And I will give you a 15 minutes time to complete the test. After 15 minutes, I will stop accepting your responses. As all of you know, 10 questions are there. And after completion of your test, then we will continuing with the discussion of managing console input output operations in C++, which we already started in our last class. If you remember, we already started in our last class how we can handle some input output operations or managing the console based input output operations. That lecture we are going to continue, and we are going to learn some new methods, some new functions, or some new packages or header files which are responsible to do various kind of formatted output responses. Okay, in C++, that we will see. So let me share the link in your chat box first. Just check whether the link is accessible to everyone or not. I have already shared the link into your chat box, the exam link in your chat box. Everyone check it and just give me a confirmation that whether it is accessible or not. Is it accessible?
Sir, can you share again?
Okay, I'm sharing again. Anyone can give me a response whether the link is accessible or not. Can we access that link?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, very good, very good. Okay, so you can start right now. It's 10:06. I'm going to stop accepting my response as 10:20. Okay, so everyone start your exam. I'm sharing the link once again for the late joiners. Okay, right now it's 10:06. I'm stop accepting your response at 10:20. Okay. All of you start submitting your responses fast. Only 3 minutes left. Less than 3 minutes left. 2 minutes. 2 minutes left. All of you start submitting your responses. Those who have already done don't need to write. I have already checked it out. 34 responses I have already received. Rest of you submit your responses fast. At 10:20, I will stop accepting your responses. Everyone submit your responses first. Don't need to write that you have done. Just submit your responses. Last 1 minute left. Last 1 minute. I'm going to stop accepting your responses at 10:20. Last 1 minute left. Everyone submit your responses fast. Everyone fast. Last 30 seconds. Last 30 seconds left. Everyone start submitting your responses fast. Last 10 seconds left. Everyone start submitting your responses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm stop accepting your responses. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So let's start with today's discussion. Let me share the screen first. I hope that all of you have already started to revise or uh, to learn the chapter of this managing console input output. If you seen that in last day, I already shared couple of notes, PPTs, and couple of programs which we have already covered or which we are going to cover in future classes. I already shared those things in your Google Classroom. I hope that all of you have received that particular notes and materials which I have already shared regarding this managing console input output in C++. Okay, so let me just tell you that what are the things that I hope that screen is visible to everyone. So let me just tell you what are the things that we have already covered in the last only one class I had taken regarding this managing console input output operations in C++, and in that class I already discussed about the various kinds of streams like input string and output strings, various kind of stream classes, C++ stream classes, which will help us to perform our formatted input output operations like IO stream class, I stream class, O stream class. Okay, IO stream class. So these are the stream classes hierarchy I already discussed in the last class, and then I discussed about the simple operations or operators or functions which we are using for unformatted input output operations. So I discussed about these overloaded operators which we have already used multiple times, insertion operators and extraction operators for performing a basic input output operation in C++ operation. Okay, and then I have also discussed about this put function and get functions, these two system defined or built-in functions in C++ which are mainly responsible to perform the printing as well as the inputting operations in an unformatted way. And in the last class I also discussed about that get line function, but due to the shortage of time I didn't discuss the write functions. So today I shall start with the discussion of this write function that helps to do unformatted input output operations. Then we are moving into the formatted input output operation and its corresponding classes and functions in C++. Okay, so if you remember that in getLine function, what I have told in getLine function, it actually used to read an entire line of text or a whole line of text that ends with a new line character. Okay, so when the getLine function will get the new line characters, it will stop of reading that particular line until it will read the whole line of text. And this getLine function, this built-in getLine function, is generally working along with the cin object. That means this getLine function is invoked by using the object cin. That's why we have written the getLine function syntax in C++ in such a way that cin dot getLine function, then we have passed two parameters or two arguments within the getLine function. One is line, another one is size. Line represents the line which you want to read, okay, which you want to read, and the size will represent the total number of characters or total number of characters present into that particular line of text that you want to read through the getLine function. Now today I would like to start a discussion about the write function. So everyone check it out, this slide properly. The write function is one of the very important function by which we can perform the input output operations. Okay, especially the output operations. Write function is mainly used for the output operation. GetLine function is mainly used for the input operations. From the name, it is easily to understand that in C++. But these input output operations are generally unformatted input output operations. These are not formatted input output operations. In future, how we can format those input output data while it will display, how we can format those data before displaying the particular data on the console output window, and what are the functions we will use to make this formatted output data, that we are going to learn. But right now we are just learning about the unformatted input output operations, right? So here the write function is written, the syntax of the write function is written. Everyone look at the syntax very carefully. This write function is just like a getLine function. This write function is a system defined function, is part of this IOStream header file in C++. And unlike getLine function, it's taking the help of cin object, or cin object is actually invoking the getLine function while it is start to work. In a similar way, the write function is associated with the output kind of functions. So that's why we will have to take the help of cout object here, console output object here. So write function is generally written by invoking with the help of cout object in C++. Similarly, it has two parameters, like the getLine function has similar kind of two parameters. The getLine function also has two parameters, line and size. Similarly, the write function also has two kind of parameters. One is line, another one is size. Okay. So what does the line and size represent? The line, or the first argument line, represents the name of the string to be displayed. That means the string which you want to display as an output on the console window, that you will actually passed with the help of the first argument or first parameter of this write function, cout.write function. And the second argument, that means the size argument, indicates the number of characters to be displayed. So these two are very much similar with the arguments of the getLine functions that we have already learned. Okay, so if the size is greater than the length of line, then it displays beyond the bounds of the line. Okay, so one simple program of write by using write function we would like to see. Let me show you one very simple program of using write function. So I hope that screen is visible to everyone. The command, the prompt window where I have written the code, one C++ code by using a write function. Okay, so everyone check it out. So this is the main function within the main function. I didn't create any separate user defined function here for removing for sake of simplicity. I just use only one main function and doing all the operations within this main function itself. Okay, so here I have taken two string as input. For the sake of simplicity, I had taken two string as a compile time input. Okay, this is a hello string. Okay, and this is a world. This two string. So str1 is working like a character pointer, and all of you, I think all of you have the clear knowledge about this pointer string characters, because in your C programming you have already learned it. So this str1 is actually holding the address of the first character or first byte of this hello string, and this str2 pointer holding the, yes, hello.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
how much time you were given?
How much time means?
Means the test.
Test for 10 minutes. 15 minutes. I have given actually 15 minutes.
Oh, sorry, I have heard that it was 5050.
No, no, no. 15 minutes. I had already written in the chat box that end time is 10:20. I have already written. 10 MCQ
And
question. Why should I give 50 minutes time? There's a 10 MCQ questions are there.
that's I was thinking about it.
Okay, let's forget it. Okay, so this these two strings are actually stored into these two character pointers. Okay, so these two character pointers are actually holding the first address of the first character or first byte of these two strings respectively. Okay, I think this conception is very much clear to you, because this conception is very much similar with the character string concept in C programming. Now I have taken two variable m and n, which actually holds the string length of this str1 and str2. So m actually holding how much size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 bytes or 40 bits. Okay, and this str2, that means this n variable is holding how much size? Again the 5 bits or 40 bits or 5 bytes. Okay, so both the string have the similar size. Okay, now I run a for loop and I am writing down the string. Writing down means I am printing the string at the console output window with the help of this cout object. Cout.write, I have already discussed about the syntax of this write function. Okay, so cout.write str2 comma I. So I is actually the looping variable here. So I start from 1, it will run up to n minus 1 and I plus plus. Okay, so it will actually print the string str2 character by character, one after another. Okay, because the I represents the size. So n is actually represent the size of the string 2. That's why I have given n here. While I'm reading the string 1, obviously instead of n I should give m. Here actually I have given n. The same thing is there. If you give n and m, this will give the same value because n and m size is same. Okay, but it will be better that you should start with the size of m, because whenever you are dealing with str2 whose size is actually storing into the variable m, okay, so here I have just taking a decrement loop. So here you can also take an increment loop, but for just variety, showing you the different variety of the coding, that I had printing this str2 by taking 1 to n, and I am printing the same str2 by taking m to 0. Okay, so you can do it. Oh, str2 I'm actually printing, sorry. So n to 0 should be there. str2, it's not str1. Okay, it is str2. Now here I am performing a concatenation operations, concatenating two string. Concatenation operation. How we can perform the concatenation operations? By simply writing the first string str1 comma m. M is the size of the first string. Okay, which will actually stored with the help of string length character. String length function is a part of which header file? Can anyone tell me? String length function is a part of which header file?
CS string.
C string. Very good. That's why I've used this header file here. Okay, if I am not using string length here, this function, inbuilt function here, then I don't need to use this C string header file. So string length can also be calculated by taking a counter variable, running a loop from the first byte to the last byte, okay, of this string 1 characters, and we can just print that counter to count the total length of the input string. Okay, but for sake of simplicity, for removing such complexity of the code, I have used directly the inbuilt function strlen, that is string length of the C string header file. Okay, now in this concatenation function, look at the concatenation function very carefully. So write function can be written one after another by using the dot operator. That is new thing to you. Everyone try to understand this thing. The write function has been written by concatenating themselves with the help of dot operator. Right, this is a way of how we can concatenate two write functions. First write function holding the string 1 str1 with size m, and the second write function holding the string 2 str2 with size n. Now we will print out the final string with a 10. Why I have printed out the final string with a 10, and why this final string value is str1? Why I have written str1 here? Why I didn't read str2 here? Can anyone tell me why I have written str1 here?
Because
str1 hold the world word.
because the str value 2 will get into the str value 1. So
Yes, very good. While I am doing concatenation, this string 2 is added with the string 1 and stored into string 1 itself. That is the logic is running behind of it. While I am doing the concatenation, this string 2 is actually added or concatenated with string 1 and stored into string 1 itself. So string 1 is actually holding the total concatenating string. That means hello world. These two string together, this string is now holding after this statement. So that's why its size should be changed. It cannot hold m or n because m or n is actually holding only 5 bytes, any one of the string. So the size will be changed to 5 bytes to 10 bytes. Why 10 bytes? Because this two string has been already concatenated. So 5 plus 5, total 10 bytes. So that's why the concatenation string has been written or stored into str1 with a size of 10 bytes. Let's run this code and check it out. Okay, this actually I have printed that for loop is actually doing this kind of special kind of print. Okay, a pattern kind of print. World I have printed in such a pattern. So you can just use that for loop concept to follow this pattern. Or this is the actual concatenation is doing hello world that is actually printed here. Okay, hello world. Now 10 bytes you have printed. So this is the last one, 10 bytes, hello world, but D is not there because total 10 bytes you have given. And you have printed that 10 bytes by using a space. Using a space. So space is actually carrying 1 byte. So that's why D is actually removed. And instead of D, that 1 byte will be provided to the space. So if you want to print the whole hello world along with the space, then you will have to change it to from 10 to 11. Okay. So you can print the hello world along with the space. Is it clear to everyone? Anyone has any doubt in this code?
No, sir, space will automatically added now.
Yes,
okay.
yes, space is automatically added, but the size you have to modify, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
1 byte space
Okay.
size you have to give for the space, right? Blank space. Blank space is also considered as a one character. You have to remember these things. I have already discussed this thing in the C programming language. Blank
Yes,
space
sir.
is always contains one character, and one character means 1 byte space or 8 bits. So that size you will have to add it and added one extra size for the blank space here. Okay, but if you print this one, then blank space is not there. You don't need to store the value into a blank space, or blank space will not be added here. So that 10 bytes will be enough. But if you print in such a way that we only print the final string 1 where it actually stored the concatenation of both the strings, then the blank space will be added and the size will be modified accordingly. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? Anyone has any confusion? So I hope you have remembered the pattern. Have you remembered the pattern? So I equal to 1 to n. I equal to 1 to n means at first line it will print the first character 1. First character means 1. 1 means which character? H. Here, no, sorry, it's str2. So W. It will print W. Then in the next line, I becomes 2. So it will print. This loop will repeat 2 times. So it will print the 2 characters WO. Then in the next line, I equals to 3, I plus plus after I plus plus. So the loop will returns or repeat it 3 times. So it will print WOR. So in this way, it will print all the characters of this world string in a triangular shape like this. Check out this shape, this one, up to this. The first for loop is running starting from W to up to this, full world. And the next for loop, that means this one, is actually decrementing loop. So it is starting with the first n. N means 5 characters. So it will start with this WORL. Okay. So this 5 characters greater than 0 means up to 1. So it will print up to n minus 1. So 4 characters WORL. Then in the next time the loop is the loop variable is decremented by 1. So the next time the loop is repeated 3 times for 3 characters WOR. Then the loop is again decremented by 1, and the next time the loop is repeated for the 2 characters WO, and so on. So that's why the output is decrementing in this case. Okay, the output is decrementing in this case. That is actually pattern. That's the pattern that you need to follow. Okay, so these things that I would like to show the different formatted unformatted output operations by using the write function here. How we can use the write function to do different kind of output operations. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Anyone has any question, any doubt, you can ask me. Anyone has any doubt, any question, you can ask me.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So what about the lateral student? Lateral student, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, very good. So let's move into our next portion of this input output operation, where we are dealing, we'd like to deal with formatted input output operations. So till now we have dealt with unformatted input output operation, for which we have used get function, put function, get line function, write functions, cin function, cout function, like this. Okay, cin object, cout object, like this, or greater than operator, less than operator. But for formatted input output operation, what C++ will provide us, that we will check out here. Okay, so C++ supports a number of features that could be used for formatting the output. So our main objective here, that we need to format the output. Input does not need to format, right? Because input is not showing to the in front of the customer or to the user. So that's why input is not our concern. Our main concern is the output. How the output will be shown, whether it will show in a formatted manner or in an unformatted manner. So suppose the customer required the output to show in a formatted manner. So that then you will have to use those C++ features which will help to show the output in a formatted manner. So iOS class functions and flags. This is the first one by which we can do the formatted manner. So I will discuss with you that iOS class functions. Flags I am giving you for your own study at your home. Okay, if you don't understand, then I will discuss about the flags as well. But I hope that if you understood this use of iOS class functions, then you are also getting the idea of these flag functions. Okay, then there is a iOS manipulators. Okay, that I am going to discuss how we can use manipulators to do a formatted output operations. Okay, and then user defined output function. It is also a kind of user defined manipulators. But this third topic is also part of this manipulators, and this should be an user defined manipulators. Okay, how we can use user defined manipulators to do formatted output operations. So let's start with the first iOS class functions. Okay, so all of you remember the hierarchy of the iOS streaming that I have already discussed in the last class. iOS is the grandparent one, and then it will be divided into its hierarchy or inheritance. iStream is used for the input streaming, OStream is used for the output streaming, and IOStream is used for both input output streaming. Okay, so these are the this is the basic hierarchy that we need to follow in case of iOS classes. Okay, so these are the functions, iOS class functions and flags that we need to use. There are mainly three functions that we need to use here. The first one is with. With function, it specifies the required field size for displaying an output value. So when you are displaying a particular output value, it may be an output string, it may be output characters, it may be output integers, whatever it is, the width, whatever width you are specifying, that much of width output you will get in your console. So within this width function, suppose you are passing only 10 value. 10 means 10 bytes. So suppose your string has total, input string has total 20 bytes, but you don't want to print all the 20 bytes as output of your input string. You want to print only the 10 bytes. Okay, so then you will have to use the with function. Okay, so with function is mainly used to specify the required field size for displaying an output value. This with function is part of this iOS class. Okay, Now iOS streaming class, input output streaming. iOS full form is input output streaming. Okay. Now precision function. Precision, I think all of you understood the term precision, the meaning of the precision. So to specify the number of digits to be displayed after the decimal point of a float value. So obviously precision play a very vital role in case of double values or float values, where there is a concept of decimal points. Okay, so you will have to specify. Suppose your float value contains 1.33333333. Suppose this much of value your output float value contains, but you don't want to display your output float value in such a bad looking format like 1.333333. So you want to round it off, or you can say the float it off, cut it off, and print only the first two digits after the decimal point. So 1.33 will be the output. In that case, you will have to use the concept of precision function. Okay. Then the fill function. Fill function is used to specify the character that is used to fill the unused portion of a field. As for example, suppose you have taken 10 bytes as an input, right? 10 bytes a string or 10 bytes a character as an input, right? Suppose you are going to display only the 5 bytes within this 10 bytes of input characters. Rest of the 5 bytes you don't want to make it blank, or you don't want to leave it blank. You want to suppose replace those blank fields by using a some kind of special kind of symbols like star or question mark or exclamation sign, any kind of symbol. Okay, for a good formatted to increase the look and feel of your output values in the console. That's why you can use, in that case, you can use the fill function here. Okay. In a similar way, there is a setf function. Setf function is used to specify the format flag that can control the form of output display. We will discuss our setf function in later. Unsafe flags. And unsetf means you actually clear the flag which you have already set it. Okay. So let's check it out individual functions with some programs. Okay. So how we can write the with function? This is the basic syntax of writing the with function. Everyone look at the syntax very carefully. The with function to define the width of a field necessary for the output of an item. So cout dot width, and w is the field width that you are specifying, that up to that much of field width you want to display your output. So the output will be printed in a field of w characters wide at the right end of the field. So cout dot width 5. Cout dot width 5. Your cout is 543. Suppose your cout is 543. Then cout dot width 5. Your cout is 12. So first you have to create the 5 space width. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's check out this output part very carefully. By the help of this cout dot width 5, we are first creating 5 blank fields or blank widths for holding the 5 characters or 5 integers, whatever you say. So at the output, I am printing only 543. So it will print it from the right hand side. Look, width at the right end of the field. So it will print it from the right hand side. 3, first print 3, then the second print 4, then the third character print 5, and rest of the fields are leaving blank because you are setting 5 fields. Okay. So why you are doing these things? Because you say, sir, I want to see that output in a different way. I want to see some blank spaces in front of that output, and you can only do it. You can only add those blank spaces by using the width function itself. Otherwise, you are not able to add the blank spaces. Okay. In the similar way, you have again created a width of the 5 bytes. So after this 543, again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bytes width you have created, but you are displaying only the value 12. So from the right hand side, 2 is first displaying, then 1, and the rest of the 3 fields are leaving blank. This is the way of how the width function is working. Is it clear to everyone? Anyone has any question? Is the width function activity or working conception is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Anyone has any question? Do you understand how the width function is working? Let's check it out one program. Check out one program. This is the program that I have written for you, where I have used the with function. Check out this program. This program I have written for you. So here I have taken one array, integer type of array, which holds maximum 4 bytes or 4 elements. Okay, so these are the 4 elements. For sake of simplicity, I have defined those elements in a compile time, not in a runtime. So compile time 4 elements are 10, 8, 12, 15. Then int cost of 4, again one integer array of with the name of cost I have taken, and again the 4 elements I have taken as input, right? Compile time input. Now I have created width of 5 fields. Try to understand. I have created width of 5 fields, and there I have printed items. So this item is double quote. Double quote means I am not printing the item value. Try to understand. I have given items in double quote. That means I am printing this item as a string. That means items will be printed. This whole word will be printed as a string word. Okay, after the width has been set or specified. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this item has 5 bytes. So there is nothing to up to 8 bytes, but I have printed the cost as a string. So rest of the 4 bytes will leave blank. So cost will be printed after printing 4 blank fields or 4 blank bytes, and then the cost will be printed. Let's check it out, the output first. Okay, look, items has been printed, then giving a 4 blank space, then cost is printed. Then again giving a 4 blank space, and total value, this will be printed. So let's check it out. Look, total 15 I have given, more spaces I have given. So it's your choice how you are going to print it, and that then the total value will be printed. So you can understood these 3 things, item, cost, and total value, are printed in a good formatted look. And due to this with function, we are able to print this 3 items, cost, and total value in a good formatted look. Now within this formatted look, we have to fill out some values. Okay, doing some calculation, running a for loop, taking a sum variable, just running a for loop. Now within this for loop, which will run for starting from 0 to less than 4, that means up to 3. So total 4 times the for loop will repeat or will run, and then we will create a blank space or width of 5 bytes, and then we will print item of I. Right now the item of I means it will print the values of the item 10, 8, 12, 15, like this. 10, 8, 12, 15. Okay, so within item, by taking each and every repetition of the loop, a new line will be given, and the 4 item values will be printed one after another. Okay, now in the next case, in the next column, that means the cost column, I have printed the cost by making the width of 8. Why I have taking the same width? So you have understood, whatever width I have taken here, the same width I have to take here. Otherwise this will not be in the same, within the same alignment. It will change the alignment. Okay, it will change the alignment. So we have to make these 2 as the same alignment, in a same alignment. So that's why the same width field value we have taken for the cost as well as for the items. Now we have calculated the value, but just doing a multiplication between the item elements and the cost element, and that will be stored into a value variable, and that value will be printed, and that value will be adding with the sum, and the sum will be printed at the end. Okay, the sum will be printed at the end. So each and every time the value will be printed by multiplying the cost with items. These are the values by multiplying the cost with, so 75 into 10, 750, 100 into 8, 800, 60 into 12, 720, 99 into 15, 1485. Okay, and at the end the total sum has been printed as 3755, that have been printed by taking the sum as a variable with a initialized value of 0. Okay, and the sum value I have printed also by using a width of 2. Okay, so look, sum value is printed also by taking a width of 2. The grand total is, okay, this string has been written without any width. Okay, from starting from the left hand side, but when the sum value will be printed, it will give some width. Okay, it will give some width. So this is the application of the width function. Is it clear to everyone? Tell me. Anyone has any problem, any doubt? Do you understand this program and its corresponding output? Tell me, is it clear to everyone? Do you understand the program and the corresponding output?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone has any kind of confusion? Clear the confusion, because some of the things that I am leaving for you. Okay, I am not going to discuss all the things because these are very simple. Okay, you can just practice at your home and you can do it, solve the formatted output or input output operation by yourself as well. I'm just I'm just giving you the basics of the concepts. Okay. So so we have almost reached our time, so we will stop our lecture today here. In the next class I will show you the precision flag, okay, sorry, the precision function, and I would request you, or I would suggest you that you will uh, try by yourself the last two, that these flag fields by yourself, setf and unsetf, setf function and unsetf function. These two you should try at your home by yourself. Okay, I'm not going to discuss those things. I will discuss formatting, precision function in the next class, then the fill function in the next class, then I'm directly skip and jump into the manipulators. Okay, discussion of the manipulators. So rest of the two flag, setf and unsetf, these two flag I will leave for you, that you will have to read out by yourself. Okay. Okay, then I'm taking your roll numbers. Everyone please response.